How's it going, guys? Welcome back to another video. So in this video I'm going to show you how to get good FPS with shaders on Intel HD graphics. So I've been playing Minecraft with the shaders with Intel HD graphics, as you can see it says over here with 4000, and I've been able to get really good FPS. And I have made a video previously in the past that shows you how to optimize shaders for Minecraft, and that video worked out really well. But I wanted to make an update, so this is going to be an update on that video. So there are some things I missed out on that video, so I'll be sure talking about those in this video, so make sure you stay tuned. And right now, as you can see, I'm getting 30 FPS, and this is not even with the shaders on. It looks pathetic. So what I'm going to do is show you some tips and all that to get the shaders working, and there are some things obviously you're going to need just like in the last one, and I'll just show you how to get really good FPS in this game. So first off, you're going to need Optifine, and you're going to need a good version of Minecraft that you actually bought, not some next level illegal version. So right now I've got Optifine running on here. As you can see, Optifine 1.12.2 and the Minecraft is running. And one of the things I really missed out, which has a huge hit on performance, is the screen resolution. And let's just go into this, and so basically get Optifine running just like in the last one, and this is what you'll get. So I'll just show you my specs right now. I've basically got an Intel i3, which is a dual core. It just, the 4 threads that is showing over here makes it a quad core, but it's not really a quad core, it's just a dual core. So I have probably the worst system in the world right now, but it seems to be working. It took so long, and so I've just stuck with it. So what I'm gonna do is, let's just get right into it, and I show you how to optimize these the shaders for Intel HD graphics. Now right now I'm playing on 1080p. It shows you at the corner over here. And let's go ahead and first off just drop the resolution down. Let's go down to 720. Okay, and now this is not going to change right now, but I'll actually change that later, because I'll have to stop the recording and put it on back on recording every time I do it, and because the capture card stops recording if it detects a change in the display resolution. So let's just get on to the other stuff first. So if you got a really crappy CPU, as in this one is really bad, it's only i3, it's only a dual core, half that number by the way. If you got like a 4 over there, just half it, that's how much cores you have. Then you're gonna want to do the render distance stuff, so just drop it down. I've been playing on 8 normal, and it seems to be just chugging along with the frame rate. But the reason it's hovering around 36s and stuff is because of the integrated graphics, the iGPU, as in Intel HD graphics. The CPU is not a problem in this case. Is the GPU is the bottleneck over here. So that means if you were to lower the resolution, it'll just go right up to 60. So the CPU right now in this case is not the problem. So let's go ahead, and we will go into the resolution later on, but I want to show you something. So I've got some shaders over here, and it also does depend on the shaders that you use. So if I was to go on to CS version 11, it's gonna turn into like 5 FPS. So that's because these are really heavy shaders, as you can see, 5 FPS, and it doesn't really like to run really well. While I do like these shaders and stuff like that, it's just not really good, is it? Because it's just 5 FPS, and you could give it a boost. As you can see, these are probably the most realistic shaders, I'll say. Let's go ahead and jump out of the water over here, and we'll go ahead and give it a boost by lowering the render quality down. So I'll put down the minimum right now, so that's 0.5, and I'll also take anti-aliasing off, which I'll talk about in a bit. So this might be a long video because I'm going to do it a bit differently. I haven't done a video in a long time, so just bear with me. So right now we're getting 13 FPS, and of course it's something with the textures. It's always with CS shaders, but it seems like it's much more smoother because it's doubled in the frame rate, and that's because I just lowered the resolution with the render quality. It basically just does that. And I've also taken anti-aliasing off, and if you want to play like this, apparently you can go ahead and do that. But it doesn't look good, does it? It's a 1080p monitor I've got over here, and everything looks like it's 360p. That's not good. So these shaders, I would say, are too much for this GPU. So let's go on something different. We've got lagless shaders over here. We've got these ones, which I'll get onto in a bit, and these are probably the main reason why I'm doing this video, and I'll leave links in the description if you need them, so you can go jump onto that. I've got this one over here, which basically is only depth of field, and the reason I got this, well, you go back onto 40 FPS now, but it's much more smoother. As you can see, we can now bump that back up into ×1, and that's gonna drop it down to like 30 FPS. But as you can see, it's basically got blur in the background and stuff, and I actually like this, and that's why I got these shaders. But the thing is, these shaders don't really work really well, because if we move in really close over here, apparently it just jumps instantly to the item block. It doesn't kind of just like a camera focus. When it does it really slowly, it doesn't do that. It just all of a sudden just jumps. So I've not been really using these, but basically it's just the stock shaders in Minecraft, except they've got depth of field. As you can see, the back kind of gets blurred out and stuff. So this one might work, but it's not really good because we don't like it. So let's go ahead and jump onto lagless shaders. Now I showed you CS ones, and they're really not good for Intel-HD graphics, as you can see. But these ones are much better than CS shaders, as in it runs much better on Intel-HD graphics. And as you can see, we're getting 15 FPS without even lowering the stuff down. So we can do that right now, and let's see what we get in these shaders. So we load it down and we got 30 FPS. So as you can see, this I would say is definitely playable, and you can go ahead and do this if you want. Of course, it doesn't look the best, but you've definitely got shaders running, and I would say this is playable. Now another pair of shaders that I've come across is the what is it called, SP thingy, and I'll go ahead and put those on right now. It's dropped down to 16 because of the render distance, and you might just want to lower that down, but I'm not going to do that, because let's go ahead and jump into this. So all these are not going to work really well on Intel HD graphics, because CS shaders are really tough on the GPU. So that's why I got lagless shaders, and they seem to be really nice. But I found SFLP shaders, which are actually lighter than lagless shaders. So let's go ahead and show you the standard version, which is basically like the normal version of the shaders. And this is, after it's going to load in the world over here, it's actually going to just stop working really well. And I think it looks better than lagless shaders as well. I actually like this look more than that. So we've got 25 FPS, and it's also all of a sudden it's just going to kind of try and drop down as the render distance increases. So now it's on the 20s. It was on 30s in the beginning, but it seems to work fine. But the thing is, this is basically like the normal shaders. So as in, these are the best version of it right now. Ultra and HD Ultra is going to come along. You got the lower version, which is a little lower. So the quality of these shaders is much lower than the standard version of the same shaders, but that's to improve the FPS. And by the looks of it, I can't really tell much of a difference, if I'm honest with you. So it's 29 FPS and stuff, and there's the elite versions, which is what I've been using, and we'll jump onto them right now. Now these, they are the lowest version, and this can be sorted out. It basically just goes into the distance, and the fog just kind of takes that line away. But right now I'm just rendering in really low resolution and stuff. That's why it's a bit messing around. But basically the elite shaders are the like the lightest version of these shaders, and they seem to give you the best FPS for Intel HD graphics, and I think they work quite well. It's just some problems like this line over here, this outline of this thing. It does go away later on. As you can see, that's rendering the trees over there, and those don't seem to have the line over there. But because it's on 30s, let's go ahead and bump the render quality up to ×1. Okay, so now it's on 29th, and this is basically running at proper 1080p resolution now, and it seems to be really sharp on my monitor, and it's running really well as well. Now there's just one thing I'm going to talk about, and that is anti-aliasing. So you don't really have to use anti-aliasing if you got a high resolution monitor, or if you're going to use the lower resolutions, then I do recommend using anti-aliasing. Basically, it just blurs out things a little bit, only the edges of this rod, let's say over here, to make it seem like it's a higher resolution picture. So a bit more like a painting. And if you increase the render quality, It actually does the same thing. It's just gonna put some anti-aliasing on. It says it in the description over here. So let's go ahead and put anti-aliasing on to ×4, and I'll show you the difference. Now, as you can see, this line over here, it looks really smooth. But I'm running at 1080p, so it doesn't really matter much to me, and it does hit the FPS a bit. But basically, if you have a really low resolution monitor, you want to use anti-aliasing because it'll make it look like it's really high resolution. You won't be able to tell that there's just jagged lines and stuff around the blocks over here. And if you get really close up to things, as you can see, it looks like really high resolution stuff. But if I take the anti-aliasing off, as you can see, there's just everything is a bit pixelated. Now, if you're using a high resolution monitor, again, obviously you don't really need to do that. If you see pixels on your monitor, then you don't need to use that. As in, you're better off using it. Now, I put that on because I changed the resolution down, right? And I want to play on ×1 on all of these, so I put this on, and it looks kind of like a movie or something made by film, and I really like that because it's a bit soft but it's sharp at the same time. So let's go ahead and jump onto the resolution bit. So what I'm going to do is stop the capture card from recording because it's going to just stop anyways, and I'll put a camera on to record my display, and I'll show you. If you keep an eye on the FPS over here, I'll just drop the resolution down to 720p. We'll see how much of a jump we get out of these shaders. But I actually want to use these ones, the low version, because they apparently have shadows. I just realized right now. That's much better, isn't it? So there is that ×1 on shadows. They are really poor shadows, by the way. Oh yeah. So if we go on to R1, oh, that's much better. I want to stick with these shaders. Let's see how much we can get out of these if you drop the resolution down to, say, 720p. And because I'm going to drop the resolution down, that's why I recommend you using anti-aliasing. It's actually going to make it look like it's not a really low resolution display or something. Unless you go really low, obviously then it is going to be low. But we're getting 11 FPS, which is not really good at all. So let's go ahead and see what happens. And of course, you can obviously try now drop the render quality and stuff down to get a better FPS, but I don't want to do that. I want to stick with 1. So let's go ahead and get the camera set up, and we'll start the recording of the display. So what I'm going to do is just change the resolution, and to do that, you go into other settings from, and you can only do that with Optifine, by the way. So let's go ahead and drop this down to 720p, and we're going to use anti-aliasing to make it look like it's really high resolutions. And you have to actually minimize the game, as in take it off full screen mode. So that's by pressing F11, and then if you press F11 again, it's gonna enable it, but my capture card is gonna stop recording. So now we're getting about 18 FPS, which is much better. So we did get a jump in FPS, and I want to go ahead and change this into the low version now, and it doesn't really look bad, does it now? So this is 30 FPS now. I think I'll stick with these because those are a bit too much for this GPU over here. But basically I've dropped the resolution down to 720p, and we're getting on to 20 FPS, and I'd say this is playable. I've actually never used these shaders on this resolution, but normally I actually use a lower resolution than this. So if my capture card doesn't stop recording, because it still does say that it's still recording, but I doubt that it still is, I'll drop this where's it gone, the resolution down to 600, and this is gonna give that ultra wide look. And if you have field of view like this, there we go, the capture card is messing about now. So this is basically when it's changing the resolutions, it just does this. So it's gone ultra wide. As you can see, there's black borders on the top and the bottom of the display, and it doesn't look bad because I've got anti-aliasing on. I think it's definitely much better than the normal shaders that we've been using. And I want you to copy onto 60 or whatever refresh rate your display is at, and mostly that's going to be 60. And you can obviously take this off and it will get even better FPS if you want. But I like to keep that on because it just does look pixelated a lot, so I want to just put that back on. I just have this kind of taste in this kind of stuff. But now we've got terrible shadows, but we've got shaders running on Minecraft with Intel HD graphics 4000, and I really missed this off, the fact that you can change the resolution, and it just has a huge improvement on the FPS, and also it does matter which shaders that you're using. So you can't just use every shader that's out there. You're gonna have to just sacrifice some things. And this is 24 FPS. That's not really nice. We want it at least 30. And even though this is smooth enough, I doubt that is playable. I've been playing with these shaders, and it's jumped all the way up to 60s with Anti-Aliasing on. And this, by the way, is ×1 of the render quality. So that is really impressive. You can drop that down even further, but I don't think I'm gonna do it because it already looks like 720ish and stuff. In my opinion, it actually looks really nice, but some people might not like it, so that's what I'm just saying. You know, you might not want to drop the resolution down even more further than it already is. But 720p for me is actually quite nice. I'm okay with it. Obviously, this massive monitor I've got does make it look pixelated compared to 1080p, but it definitely is much better of an experience, and I think that's what I'll go for instead of resolution. So yeah, we got 40 FPS running over here, so these shaders do really improve the performance for Intel HD graphics. So I do recommend you taking a look at these shaders instead of CS or your best or your favorite shaders. And by the way, there is another thing that I just want to show you. So for each shaders, you can actually go on options down here, and you can turn things off and on to improve your frame rate. But for these shaders, I turned everything off and on, and there's basically no difference. You still get reflections, you still get this wavy water. For those of you who don't like it, I don't know what to do with you. Why don't you like it? But what does work is the wavy grass and the wavy leaves. So as you can see, they're waving right now, and obviously the grass is waving as well, and also the flowers. You can't turn those off, and that actually turns off. But the rest, like the flares and the sun and the way everything else works, seems to just not work or turn off. So the wave water like that, it's not gonna like turn off. But that's all good, but because we actually do want those on, don't we? And we're getting decent FPS, so I don't think it's much of a problem. 40s is hovering around 40s. So I'll leave a link in the description. Go ahead and check these shaders out. They do give you a huge bump in FPS, and they do actually look quite nice. Obviously it can be much better with the shadows and stuff, but I personally don't mind. Yeah, I'll actually leave it here. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section below, and I'll make sure I answer your questions. If you have anything, or if you're missing out somewhere, then just ask me in the comment section below. I'll go ahead and help you out. So I'll leave it here. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in another video.